Hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Lisa, and I had an original intro film for this, but then I was editing and it was kind of short and awkward, so I'm going to film a new one. Welcome back, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be recommending some YA young adult books, and I hope you like this video and that you get at least one book recommendation out of this. And yeah, let's just get right into the video.
We have the Selection series by Kiera Cass. This is a trilogy. It starts with The Selection, then goes with The Elite and The One. And yeah, this is completely broken. This is what happens when you have 4 dogs. And then, yeah, they broke my books. Anyways, the series is about a girl called America Singer. She's a 17-year-old girl who lives in a world with caste. So basically, the whole system is ranked with people starting from 1 to 8, 1 being royalty and 8 being like homeless. So every level of people, caste, that's what they call them, is like they each have a job that they have to do. And America is a 5, so she's a musician. They have something called the Selection, which is the prince gets to have 35 girls from ages, I think, 16 to 20 or something, come to the palace, and he basically has to marry one of those girls. That's how he chooses his wife. And America gets chosen, and basically she goes, and when she gets to the castle, she already decides that she does not want to marry the prince. She's just there because she has to be. She got picked, and she's there for the food and for the vibes. So this is the original trilogy, and then after you finish this, there's a novella after this book, and then there's 2 other books that are 20 years later, but these are the original ones. So for the second book, I'm going to recommend a standalone, and it's called 10 Miles Past Normal by Frances O'Roark Dowell. It's kind of hard to pronounce. This book is about this girl named Jenny. She's a freshman in high school, and basically she lives in a farm, and she has goats and horses. She doesn't have many friends, she isn't popular, and you get to see her just kind of struggle. There is also this boy named Monster. She has a crush on him. Romance isn't a huge plot in the book, but it's still really cute, and I totally recommend it. It's also kind of short, it's about 200 pages, and it's just kind of a fun, quick read. This book is also not very famous, so I just thought I would put it in here because it actually is really fun to read if you just need something short and something you don't have to think about a lot while reading it. Next up, I have Five Survive by Holly Jackson. This book was so good. I was so excited to read it. It got released a couple months ago, and I read it in February. This book is about 6 friends who go on an RV trip for spring break, and all of a sudden, while they're traveling, their RV breaks, and they get stuck in the middle of nowhere, and they want to, get help. But outside of the RV, there's someone shooting at them. They have about 8 hours to figure out, they have a secret that the person shooting wants to know. And basically, they have to, ask friends, figure out who has the secret, what this secret is, what in the world is going on. And it's really interesting. Holly Jackson is actually the author of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So I had really high expectations for this book. And this book met them. It was really good. Totally recommend it. And the plot twists were good. And then it also has every hour that goes by, it's kind of like a check-in. So it's really good. It keeps you motivated to keep going so you can get to the next hour. And yeah, I totally recommend it. So next up, I'm going to recommend Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This book is so cute. It has a rom-com vibe. And if you watch a lot of BookTube or Book Talk, you will see that this was pretty famous for people who just very rom-coms or maybe Taylor Swift vibes. This is kind of all that mixed together. It's about this girl named Liz who loves rom-coms and romance, and she has this next door neighbor named Wes, and they hate each other. Wes is always making jokes around her, and she just doesn't like him. But then one day in school, this guy Michael moves back into town, and basically Michael is Liz's forever crush. She has had a crush on him since they were little, and then he moved away, and now he's back. Michael is friends with Wes, and Liz knows that if she wants any chance to be with Michael, she has to hang out with Wes and get his help to reach Michael. So basically, Liz and Wes start hanging out together, and Liz is starting to realize, like, maybe Wes isn't, like, the jerk that I thought he was. He's actually kind of, like, you know, nice, and he's really sweet, and this book was just so cute, and you kind of know, like, if you read books, you know how it's gonna end, but it's so cute. It's like watching a rom-com, but reading it. Next, I'm gonna recommend Divergent by Veronica Roth. This book is such a famous YA dystopian book, and it's actually a trilogy. So it starts with Divergent, insurance. I'm like selling insurance. With Geico, you'll get 25%. Okay, let me look up how to say this. Like, okay, I just looked up how to say it. It's insurgent. Okay. Anyways, this is the second book, Insurgent, and then the last book, Alliant. Okay. Allegiant. I was right. It's Alliant. No, Allegiant. So basically, Divergent, Insurgent, Allegiant. So in this world, they are all divided into 4 different groups, and when they reach like a certain age, they have to take a test to see how like likely they are to be in each group.
I'm back. So I forgot to tell you like a big part of the story, like a huge point, so I'm going to tell you now. So basically, they take this test, and they can be into 4 different groups: Dauntless, Candor, Amity, and Abnegation. And then there's also something called Divergent. Divergent is basically when you can be in more than one group. So you're likely to be in like 3 groups or more. I just want to say that because that's an important part of the story, and I can't believe I forgot to say that.
And then they have like a ceremony where they have to choose what group they're going to be in. So you're born into a group, but you can choose which one you want to live in forever. But once you choose it, you have to stay in that one. And if you don't survive like the training and everything, you're going to be homeless. Like, you can't go back to your original group. It's about Tris. She's from Abnegation, and which is basically like they're really humble, and they're the kind group, and they can't be selfish or anything. And when it comes down to it, she decides to choose Dauntless, which is like the adventurous. They're like jumping off buildings, jumping off trains. They fight, and they use guns. She has to go into training, learn how to be one of them, and if she can't survive that, she's gonna be homeless. There's also like a bit of romance in it, like very minor plot. It's not the point of the book, but there is a bit of that in there. Lastly, I want to recommend Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli. This book is about this girl called Stargirl. She goes from being, I think she was homeschooled, to going into like public high school. And basically, she's very like different. She walks around with a ukulele. She goes by the name of Stargirl, and basically she gets laughed at. You know, if you have ever gone to public school, she gets laughed at, and she kind of becomes friends with this guy named Leo. And Leo starts suggesting like maybe you should like act normal. She doesn't want to, and you get to see her kind of go through that of, should I be myself, or should I try to be normal? Should I try to be what other people want me to be? And yeah, I just really like this book. It's short, and there's also a sequel that I haven't read, and if you have read it, let me know if I should. I also like this quote in the back that it says, Leo urges her to become the very thing that can destroy her, normal. Like, she's being kind of popular, then not being popular, people laugh at her. And yeah, it's just a good book. I rated it about a 3.5 out of 5, which is still a pretty good rating. So that is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching it. I hope you got at least one book recommendation out of this. I hope you have a great day and go read a book.